And welcome to the Downshift. I am William Hall, I am the boss here at Authentic Collectibles, and joining me today is none other than our resident nerd.
King of the nerds. Hi, my name's Greg. This is a little bit of a pod to talk to you guys about what we've got on the boil, what's coming up in model car land.
So to do that, we probably need some samples to show.
Shall we?
Yes.
Right. So here we have our 12th scale Camaro and Mustangs. One you'll see is actually in primer, that's still in its hand sample stage. The Camaro is a little bit further along in its development, and we've actually got a decorated sample here, even though it is our plain body version. As you can see, there's a bit of a change that goes on between having something that we're checking the shape and making sure that everything looks right, to actually having polished glass. You can see through it, you can see into all the interior detail. This is kind of the last step, and the next step is pretty well sticker it up.
Stick it up and put it in a box.
Exactly.
So you can sort of see that we've obviously been kind of in two stages of development with these, even though these cars sort of ended up on track at exactly the same time. The Mustang has had a few little alterations to its body shape over time. So we fully committed to the Camaro, and then the Mustang's been a little behind.
The dreaded P word has hit us, and that's basically delayed development of it.
Trying to avoid the P word.
So
you can still see though that obviously there are some things that come across. So the wheels on this sort of hand sample are the tooled wheels. You can see they're the final version, as it were, and tyres as well.
Yep.
But definitely this one not quite ready yet. No clear glass yet. Things like that. That's sort of the next step of the tooling phase, I guess, for this.
Yeah. So once we kind of get to this point, we're really checking to make sure that the car actually looks like it does. You know, everything's in the right spot. It's the right shape. Once I get to this point, I'll give it a last set of comments and give it a few little tweaks. Then I'll go away and actually start tooling up all of the clears, which are actually injection molded as opposed to cut glass, which you might find on cheaper resin models. Then once I've got to that point, we'll go to a decorated sample, and then the next thing is production sample, and the next thing is car in a box in your living room.
And I guess we have announced a few of the Camaros, with the 23 championship winner, the 24 Bathurst winner.
Yep.
We haven't actually announced anything from Mustang Land, I don't think.
Not yet,
because
no.
we don't have a Bathurst winner or a championship winner yet.
Here's hoping.
So this one again, just slightly behind the Camaro, but as you can see, we're well on our way.
Yeah. They're pretty impressive models. Just the size makes them quite a talking point. I actually think they've turned out pretty good. We have a few decorated samples of the Camaro, which we might show you a little bit later on, but let's keep sticking in tooling land and go and have a look at some of the other stuff that we're actually working on in its prototype stage, I guess.
Perfect. All right, so on the scale of scales,
we've gone from the big to the small.
We've gone from bigs to smalls.
Yeah.
So as far away as you are, you probably can't see this right now, but we'll put some B-roll over the top. What have we got sitting in front of us?
Right, it's a bit of an 84 lockout, to be honest. So we've got the 84 VK Group C Commodore, as made famous by Peter Brock winning the 84 Bathurst 1000. We've set this up so we can do a few of the other cars that we're kicking around in Group C. So it's got different sets of wheels, mirrors, steering wheel, a few of the other bits and bobs that made the differences between all of the 84 cars. And don't forget, these only ran for a little period of time in the grand scheme of motorsport.
It was only about 6 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, really short, like a couple of races, and then that was the end of Group C, which is, in my opinion, a bit of a shame. But moving on. On the other side, we've actually got the 1984 pole sitter, which is the Nissan Bluebird driven by George Fury, that locked out the pole position for Peter Brock.
So technically, they should be sitting like that.
They should indeed.
And then you have your front row.
Yeah. So these are 1/43rd scale die-cast models. You've probably seen the 12 scale we've done for the VK and the 18 scale that we did for the Bluey. this is basically trying to just fill in a few of the gaps that are probably missing in some of the collections. Not to mention, I just think they're cool because it's the last of the sort of crazy cars in my opinion. So yeah, these are reasonably high detail models. Obviously not opening part because they're still too small a scale to do that. But we have kind of gone to town and trying to get as much scale detail as we can into a 43rd. So all told, they're actually pretty damn good.
So we've already announced the VK, the VK Bathurst winner.
Yeah.
We haven't announced sort of the few other versions that we'll do with that. But the Bluebird, you're seeing that here first. So expect an order form for that in the near future. We may even wait until we've got a deco sample before we actually announce that one. But yeah, something a little different from us.
Yeah, this is one that's been sort of floating around on the back burner to a certain extent. We've just been chipping away at it over a period of months. But yeah, we got these a couple of days ago, and I think they're pretty rad.
They do look pretty cool. We did scan both of these cars back in 2018 or something.
Yeah,
a while ago when we actually scanned these cars. But
yeah, and it's taken a while to get to where we are. But yeah, ultimately, they're actually very good representations of the cars.
And something we haven't done at Authentic. We haven't done anything in 43rd that sort of hasn't been a V8 supercar. So while they're still touring cars, it's going back and doing something a little bit different, a little older, and something old, something new, something. What's the and blue?
Something borrowed.
I mean, something borrowed. Yeah, something blue. Yeah. So we've got it all.
Oh, beauty. All right, let's go and look at some other stuff.
All right. So now we move into our sort of our newest tooling, I guess, that we're already starting to modify.
Yeah, and to be honest, with good reason. When we started this program, we really didn't know how it was going to be received by you guys out there. We weren't sure whether it was going to work or not, so we kind of hedged our bets and went, we'll do one set of tools and see how it went, and I've got to say, it's gone absolutely bananas.
Way better than we ever imagined.
Which is good, because that means I can then press you in actually getting things right. And so part of that is, we're basically going in and retooling the hoods and noses for a bunch of the cars that we're working on at the moment to get closer to fidelity to scale that we didn't have before.
Well, and preempting what we might be doing in the future a little bit as well, kind of future-proofing us a little bit as well. So talk us through what we've sort of got sitting on the table.
Righto. So what's on the car currently is the Jason Pride Motorsport package, if you like. It's got the very specific hood that JPM tends to run, kind of a typical nose on that. We've also got a bunch of other ones. So we've got the hood and nose kit from Team Brady, which is your James McFadden car. We've got Williamson Motorsport setup. We've also got an Outlaw hood and nose, which is what Jock Goodyear's running, and also elbow guards that are specific to each car. As you can see, we basically, when we started this, we did a full elbow guard, but a lot of the cars are running cutouts. Team Brady Racing are actually running a very specific elbow guard, which actually sticks out the side, so we've had to retool that as well. So yeah, over a period of time, we're basically going to keep adding more tooling to this as we go. But yeah, overall, we're starting at the simple spot, and by the end of it, we'll end up with something that is pretty comprehensive.
And so I guess from sprint car land point of view, sort of the chassis doesn't really change too much. I mean, there is variations in chassis, but again, from a model perspective, it's just something we simply can't model every single individual particular chassis.
No.
Every car would be different, and just from a, as I say, financially tooling perspective, it just wouldn't be achievable.
Yeah.
But the visual cues, which are the bodywork components, we can. So as I say, or as Greg said, initially we just started with the one package that was a bit of a sort of one size fits all. Yeah, well, a bit of carryover from Hodges' car. So the Hodges Motorsport Napa car that McFadden drove. That's what started this whole process. So that's kind of where we lent on initially. And then obviously Jason came involved and helped us with a few other bits and pieces. But then, you know, we're now taking that next step and covering off a few more of the designs that we need to do to get them more accurate as per whatever team we're doing is actually running.
Yeah, and that's kind of the idea, is to try and build a bit of a library of different parts, so we can, you know, get the cars as close to scale as we possibly can.
And open up more opportunity to work with more teams.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's sort of what we're aiming for here. So
yep, we're heading in the right direction. More bits are coming.
Obviously, these are all 3D printed at this stage. So.
Yeah, and like if you do a bit of a close up on them, they're a bit bunky because I don't know how to run the 3D printer very well.
Well, we don't have the world's best 3D printer either, to be fair.
No, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'd much rather work in CAD land than create 3D printed stuff. But you know, it was more just a tester to see whether we're heading in the right direction, and we are. So yeah, we'll basically be getting these tooled up over the next while. So this was still a long process to actually get from these little pieces of plastic into actual, you know, production line stuff. So you'll be seeing these in the future. But yeah, ultimately, it's definitely happening.
So then we sort of move into the land of deco samples. So we're sort of moving away from tooling, although some of these are the first deco samples we've seen off the tooling.
Yeah.
But now more, as I say, deco samples. So you would have seen we released the Larson dirty version from High Limits. So this is our deco sample of that. So that's just about to head into production. So anyone who got their hands on that one through the pre-order process, you'll have a model of that shortly. Then this is the one that I kind of like the most. Got a bit of a soft spot for this.
Love the car. Just I don't know what the hell happened with that, but yeah, the deco sample needs a lot of work. But this is kind of how it goes. Like every now and again we get it in one, and every now and again you just wonder what the hell's going on over there. So yeah, this is one that definitely needs a bit of work. But ultimately, like apart from the the livery on the car actually looks pretty mint.
Looks so good.
Yeah.
And one of those ones that if you have one of these on pre-order, we're not going to be making that many of them.
No.
So you're in for a little special treat when you get your hands on that one finally. Then sort of Supercar land, we've had a few deco samples come through the building, but this is kind of the one that grabbed our attention the most of late. Golding's first podium for Premiere at Sandown last year.
Yep.
So that's come up a treat. I think the difference between the black Newlon and the white Newlon car is quite striking.
For me, it's chalk and cheese. Like I just think that
really good.
Yep.
Really good. And then I will handball to you because this has been your little baby.
Yeah, to a certain extent. So we've got Landaus. So you guys might have been paying attention to what we've been doing. We've been working on the Landau project for a little while now. We actually received, very surprising to get 3 in one go. It's triplets. 3 Landaus. So we've got the Cosmic Blue, we've got the Tropic Gold, and Polar White. This is based on the guy who we scanned his car, sorry. That's Gary's car. So we basically set it up as kind of a street custom because his is set up on 12 slotters. And really fat rubber. It looks tough as. Love it. So we got to do that car. So we've set that up. That'll be something that we'll announce a little bit later on. But ultimately, if you guys know it's coming, you know it's coming. There's still a few tweaks that need to be done on these cars. There's a few things that the factory kind of got a little bit wrong. As you can see on these, there's mud flaps on cars that shouldn't have them. There's also GT exhaust on there that shouldn't be there. There's a few other bits and bobs, but ultimately, we're definitely heading in the right direction on those. They've actually come out pretty good, all told, even though there's a few little tweaks, but this is part of the process of getting things right.
A few little things. It looks like you've bent the bonnet badges and things on them, but anyway.
Good, they're good.
Right.
Yeah, they've been back.
A little bit careful when you get the production versions of these, obviously.
Yeah, and it's a scale Landau badge, and as you guys know, they stick out a bit. So yeah, no, definitely a cool car. I'm very happy to see that they're trudging along quite well. So yeah, keep an eye out for these. They'll be coming out somewhat soon. I think they're due to go into production in May, so we might see them by like July.
Shortly. So yeah. So just a little summary of some of the die-cast samples, the decorated samples, I'll get it right eventually, that we've got coming through the building in the last sort of month or so.
Yeah, definitely.
And speaking of more decorated samples coming through the building,
we've got babies.
babies on babies on babies. So the last year's Bathurst winner.
Yep.
So first time for quite some time that we've actually had all 4 scales of something that we've announced, but then also have had the samples all delivered. So yeah, fantastic. 112 through to 164th.
Yeah. So as we said before, we're getting decorated samples of the 12th in. Here it is. It looks mint. It's really come out quite well. 18th scale, you've probably seen a bit of that before. 43rd just came through in the last couple of days. Same with the 64th. We've got the whole set. I'm actually pretty chuffed about this. It very rarely happens, but it's actually cool. You get to sort of see the size of everything in relation to the others, which is something you don't see very often at all. Yeah.
And all sort of going into production in the not too distant future. I think you've done your comments, so we did the comments on the 18th, but the 12th and the other 2 scales sort of you're doing shortly. So as I say, all of these will be heading into production shortly. I don't think they'll all turn up production-wise at the same time, a bit like we've got here, but definitely sort of be rolling through in the next few months, which should be fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, while it seems to be a logical thing to assume that they'll all go into production at the same time, the process for actually making these is all completely different for each individual scale. As a matter of fact, the 12 scale resin stuff is in an entirely different product line itself. So, not even the same tooling, not even the same factory effectively. And when they do on this sort of stuff, it's generally we'll try and do a run of one specific body shell to make production work a bit easier. So it'll take a little bit of time for them to get through, but they're definitely all in line to be made.
All on their way.
Yep.
Which is good. All right, guys. This is sort of the first one of these we've done where we try and cover off a few different areas of the business all in one hit. So if you've got any questions for us, whack them in the comments below. We'll make sure in the next version of this that we do, we'll go through some of your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us get the message out there to more like-minded collectors like yourself. And hopefully we can build up a bit of a community and hopefully help you out with filling your collections.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Take it easy. So it's your sort of very specific scope to. Let's do all that again.
We're not doing it all again.